Mo, your approach has always kind of been taking it one game, one day at a time. How important is it to kind of keep that mindset, especially when you're, stacking up victories in a row?
Very important because that's what brought us here. You keep thinking about how much energy it takes, and then you keep reminding yourself we got like 63 games left. So we haven't done anything, and it's very important to stay in the moment, keep improving, because that's what the best teams do. They get better over time, and that's a great challenge for us.
As you look at this last Wizards game, what are some of the areas that you want to continue to tweak as you approach the same opponent for the second straight game?
Yeah, that wasn't our best game. I think we lacked focus. We turned over the ball. It's kind of been a trend the last 3 games, turn over the ball way too much, which is a sign of lack of focus. Turned over the ball, gave up transition because of that. And defensively didn't play to our standard. Part of that is human nature as well, but we can't slack that much, and any team is going to beat you if you play like that. So we got to be better tonight.
How important, there's still one more game left on this homestand, but how important has this homestand been to kind of begin to build some momentum and confidence to kind of get your feet under you after the long road trip we'll start the season?
Yeah, obviously it's important for us to win games at home. It builds a great deal of confidence. I think just in general to create a rhythm at home, we haven't had that because of the Mexico game. I think we haven't had a longer home game stint, so I think that was really good for us to get some practices and get a routine. When you travel so much, it's really hard to create a routine, so I think that was really good for us. But again, now the challenge is to go on the road tomorrow and do the same thing, which is difficult if you've been home for 2 weeks, so we got to be very ready, but we got one today for that. So.
How important is that? Why it's so important to make sure that you have the focus that you say was kind of slacking a little bit in the last couple of games?
Well, I think part of it is human nature, right? You win 7 in a row, you think you're kind of sweet, and then reality kind of gets you. That's something we got to learn. That's how do you deal with success, small successes, like winning a couple in a row, and that wasn't our standard. Result, win or loss, doesn't matter in that situation. It's just you got to play to your standard if you want to go somewhere this year. And focus for a young team, especially where stuff doesn't come natural, is huge.
Many have been mentioning you and Cole as like leaders of the 6-man of the race. I know you're all about teamwork. When you hear your name in individual award categories, does that give you any extra motivation?
No, not at all. Honestly. Honestly, for my focus, it's not good. It annoys me a little bit because, and this is just individual because it takes me off of my performance approach. I don't play for an award. We didn't grow up that way in Germany. I never got an award. I always was the best team camper and the nicest guy on the field, and the best teammate. So I never really grew up with that mindset. It doesn't really have any value for me. I'm just happy the stuff we work on translates in games and translates into wins. And those awards are great, but that conversation kind of goes by me.
I know it's becoming a recurring question, but what has made the bench unit so dominant so far this year?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a fun group. I think that enjoys to be around each other. It's also a great mix out of veterans that have been places so far already and explosive talent like Cole, and it's kind of a good mix. We got J.I. defensively who's holding it down, and we kind of get along really well and know the other players really well, and that takes time too. I mean, Cole and I building a relationship for a couple of years with Gary, that just doesn't happen overnight. So I think just the mentality of playing for each other has really made a difference, and being able to hold each other accountable and learn together is something that we really embrace in that unit.
Has there been any memorable moments with the second unit just off the court as you guys are building that chemistry?
No, I wouldn't make it that big of a deal. I mean, it's also the unit comparisons is difficult to me sometimes too, because at the end of the day you have 15 guys. People get hurt, they got to jump in, so you can't just give credit to one unit. It just happens to be that way that we got a good energy in that lineup. I think we do get along really well, but that's everyone here, yeah.
And as far as Jalen Suggs goes, we know he's really been making his presence felt. I wanted to get your impressions on just what you've seen from Jalen and the energy he's been bringing.
Well, this is not surprising to me. You know, you kind of get out what you put in, and Jalen this summer was very impressive in his approach, the way he not only attacked basketball, but also life. There's a great deal of maturity that he showed, and that obviously makes you very happy as a teammate when somebody, explores options to get better. And he's been incredible. And obviously, this is not a surprise to me. We've always known he had this energy in him and this offensive skill, and he's huge for us.
You guys have done a great job of taking it one day, one game at a time. As you're stacking up wins here in a row, how important is it to kind of keep that mindset and approach to be prepared for a Washington team for the second straight time?
Really important, you know, just because you don't want to look ahead of any teams or look ahead to any specific games, just because it's the NBA, and you know there's a lot of talent on every team. So we're definitely trying to take it one game at a time, lock in for each game and scout, and then after that we'll move on to the next one.
You know, as you looked at that last Washington game, what are some of the areas you want to tweak as you adjust and try to improve for this game tonight?
I mean, I think as a team we got to do better in transition. They scored a lot of transition points. We had a lot of turnovers, myself included, but I think cleaning up those two things will allow us to have like a little bit more of a clean game.
How important has this long? I mean, I know there's one game left, but how important has this long homestand been to like kind of help this team, you know, get its feet under them? Obviously, you're winning, which helps with everything. But how important has this homestand been after being on the road for a lot of the part of the season?
I think it's good. You know, it's always cool playing in front of your own fans and just playing in a good environment like we've had the last couple games in this home stretch. And you know, I think we're doing a good job handling business at home, and then you know, getting ready to start going back on the road. So it's definitely important.
Where do you feel your game or your development has been since you entered the starting lineup? You know, almost a month ago now.
Really just trying to find my spots to be aggressive, continuing to defend and rebound and have a voice out there. But yeah, just figuring it out. You know, it's going to take some time, but teammates and coaches trust me, so I'm really out there just figuring it out.
What's kind of the biggest thing that maybe you learned or figured out that someone's pointed out to you, or you just kind of had to experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of learning bits at a time right now. It's a lot of small stuff. Just understanding how the game is played and just how we're gonna play. I'm figuring it all out slowly.
When one or two of the bench guys come in, no matter who scores, do you feel like some added confidence knowing that the bench unit has been so dominant?
Oh yeah, I mean our bench is one of the best in the league. I haven't seen like the stats or anything, but they come in and give us a spark every game, put up a lot of points, get stops, bring a lot of energy to the floor. So our bench unit has definitely been doing a great job. Just coming in and giving us a spark and keeping the energy where it is whenever we go to the bench.
Have you heard of the two nicknames for the bench unit, Cole and the Gang and Joe Ingles and his grandchildren?
Nah, I haven't heard of those.
You have a favorite of one of the two?
What was the first one?
Cole and the Gang, and then Joe Ingles and his grandchildren.
Probably Joe Ingles and his grandchildren. Yeah. That's more of the vibe you get with that group, for sure.
And seeing Paolo and Franz getting a lot of national recognition as of late, Paolo being Player of the Week, Franz being a nominee, has that been an influence to you at all with those guys, being not too much older than you, and that's a point of your career that you're going to be heading in soon?
I wouldn't say it's really an influence. It's it's just an added goal, of course. I didn't even know they did stuff like that, but now seeing my teammates winning it just makes me happy, and I'm really just happy for them, and we're gonna try to keep that going for sure.
And what has impressed you most about playing in front of this Amway crowd, especially with them bringing a lot of energy this past week?
Really, like you said, the energy. It's loud in there. There's activities going on during the timeouts. The fans are engaged. So, it's definitely been a lot of fun playing in Amway. A lot of fun.
I know you have one more game tonight before you guys hit the road again, but how eager or how intrigued or eager are you to see if you guys can take this out on the road and continue building on this?
Yeah, super ready for that. It's a challenge going on the road. But we've been playing some good ball, so we're gonna try to come out first tonight and get the win, and then from there start getting ready for our road games coming up.